To say that Ken Williams had a rough childhood would be an extreme understatement. Both of his parents were mentally challenged, and his mother smoked crack while she was pregnant with him. His father frequently abused the family as well. Often left on his own, he joined the Gangster Disciples at 8 years old, and after he was molested, he started to rape other children in retaliation. After being moved in and out of foster homes and juvenile detention, he went on a crime spree that would eventually land him in the electric chair. Welcome to History's Biggest Villains. Ken Williams was born on February 23, 1979 in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. His mother was mentally challenged as she had an IQ of 68 and read on a second grade level. She smoked heavily while pregnant with Ken. She would later say that it took him longer than her other kids to learn to talk and walk and potty train. "I thought Ken was a slow learner, like me," she later said. "What I mean is that he didn't seem to know anything. He couldn't keep up. His sister Yolanda tried to help him, but it was really hard. He just didn't understand things." Ken's father had a learning disability as well. He was an alcoholic and a crack addict. He once kidnapped Williams' mother and held her at gunpoint for several days. Ken would later say that his father would body slam her to the ground and choke her until she gagged. His father routinely whipped and beat him and his brothers, even throwing them against the wall. The house was roach and rat infested, with the utilities often turned off. According to neighbors, there was feces in buckets and the residents of the house just peed wherever. Ken was often left unsupervised, so he started smoking weed at 6 years old, also joining the Gangster Disciples soon after. He failed the 1st and 3rd grade, with his teacher saying he should be enrolled in a non-graded class because he does not seem to have the skills to compete. He spent his early school years moving in and out of 6 different foster homes. At the age of 8, Ken was molested, so he started to rape other children in retaliation. "I grew bitter and angry. I was guilt-ridden, too ashamed to speak out, and so I suffered in silence and in loneliness, out of which came forth a vengeance and a vow, never again to be a victimized prey, to be the one on the offense, not the defense, to be the predator, not the prey. In order to survive in my adolescent mind, I thought it better this way." Williams stopped in his preteen years, saying, "I reached the conclusion that being the offender doesn't give you any more advantage than being a victim." In 1996, Williams was sentenced to 5 years in prison for first-degree escape from the Arkansas Serious Offender Program and second-degree battery. After 2 years and 2 months, he was released on April 2, 1998. On December 13, 1998, at age 19, Ken abducted 19-year-old University of Arkansas Pine Bluff student Nikki Hurd and her boyfriend Peter Robinson from a parking lot in Pine Bluff. The couple were taking photos when Ken offered to take a photo of them together. Ken then pulled a gun on them and ordered them back in their car, where he robbed them of their money, jewelry, and credit cards. He then forced Robertson to drive him to an ATM and withdraw more money. Williams had Robertson drive aimlessly around several dead ends, repeatedly promising the couple that he wouldn't hurt them. At one stop, he had Robertson take a picture of Hurd with her dress lifted up and her underwear pulled down. Afterward, Williams and the couple got back into the car and drove to another stop. After they got out, Williams had them climb a fence and kneel down behind a shed and then get back into the car. After taking Hurd's purse, he asked the two where they were from. Hurd said she was from Dallas, and Robertson said he was from New Jersey. Williams then replied, "I don't like the niggers from Dallas anyway," and started shooting the couple, emptying his gun before driving off with their car. He later abandoned the car and burned it. Hurd died from a gunshot wound to the head, while Robertson survived. He was picked up by a passing car and went home to call the police. On December 18, 1998, Williams was charged with 1 count of capital murder, 1 count of attempted capital murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, 2 counts of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of theft of property, and 1 count of arson. He was convicted on all the charges. The prosecutor sought a death sentence for Williams, but the jury gave him a life sentence. After learning that he would be spared from execution, he taunted Hurd's family saying, "You thought I was going to die, didn't you?" Holy wow. He was sent to the Cummins unit to serve out his life sentence. On October 3, 1999, less than a month after he was sentenced to life in prison, Ken escaped by going to the kitchen and hiding inside a 500-gallon barrel of pig slop that was taken out by a truck. After the truck drove out of the prison, Williams jumped out and hid in the ditch. After hiding there for a while, he got out and ran to the highway. He eventually came to the house of 57-year-old Cecil Boren, a farmer and retired prison warden. Ken stole one of Cecil's guns, a .22 caliber Ruger pistol. As Cecil walked inside, Ken shot him in the chest, then shot him 6 more times as he tried to run away, including once in the head. Williams then dragged the body inside, stole his wallet, some of his jewelry, several more guns, and other valuables. He then dressed himself in some of Cecil's clothes before taking his truck and driving north to Missouri. The next day, Ken was spotted by an officer in Lebanon, Missouri. After initially pulling over, he suddenly drove off. This led to a high-speed chase that spanned roughly 60 miles. At one point, Ken was driving at 120 miles an hour. The chase stopped when Williams rear-ended another vehicle. The driver, 24-year-old Culligan water truck delivery driver Michael Greenwood, was ejected and killed. After his truck was disabled by the crash, Williams fled on foot and was arrested shortly afterward. He reportedly spat on Greenwood's body after the crash. Williams was not charged for killing Greenwood, but was charged for killing Boren. On August 29, 2000, Ken was convicted of theft of property and capital murder with the underlying felonies of aggravated robbery and first-degree escape. He was sentenced to death the following day. In May 2005, Ken wrote a letter to the Pine Bluff Commercial apologizing for his crimes and saying that he found God. "I hit rock bottom, and most people would say that's where I belong," he said. "People have always asked me, why did you kill those innocent people? I really didn't know how to answer that question until now. When you live a sinful life away from God, anything is possible. That includes mass murder. Learn from my mistakes." Bullshit. Williams also confessed to another murder committed on the same day he killed Nicky Hurd. On that day, he robbed 36-year-old Jarrell Jenkins and shot him twice in the chest with a .357 caliber handgun. His body was discovered in a ditch by a kid going to school. In December 2005, Ken pleaded guilty to capital murder, aggravated robbery, and theft of property for killing Jenkins and received another life sentence. Williams said finding God got him to confess, writing, "I take full responsibility for my actions and whatever consequences my peers see fit. Without God being in my life, I would have never confessed to these crimes. I would have denied them until I went to my grave. I know that the embarrassment and shame I brought upon my community is unacceptable and intolerable. As a community, we are supposed to love one another and work together as one. What we do as individuals reflects upon our communities." While on death row, Williams became an ordained minister. 20 days before his execution, he wrote an article for the Marshall Project. In it, he expressed remorse for his crimes. He was initially frustrated over his death sentence, saying, "At first, I thought, have they forgotten I am human, or do they not just care?" However, Williams then blamed himself for being on death row in the first place, saying, "Then I thought, wasn't it my disregard for human life that got me in this situation to begin with?" Well, duh. On April 27, 2017, Williams was executed by lethal injection at the Cummins unit. His final meal consisted of 2 pieces of fried chicken with a side of sweet rice, barbecue pinto beans, a slice of bread, a peanut butter cookie, and a cinnamon roll. Williams read his last words from a written statement held by a prison official. "I humbly extend my sincerest of apologies to the families I senselessly wronged and deprived of their loved ones. The families of Dominique Hurd, Jarrell Jenkins, Cecil Boren, Michael Greenwood. I was more than wrong. The crimes I perpetrated against you all were senseless, extremely hurtful, and inexcusable. I humbly beg you for your forgiveness and pray you find the peace, healing, and closure you all deserve. I'm not the person I was. I've been transformed. Some things can't be undone. I seek forgiveness." I don't believe none of that. The execution drew national attention after Kayla Greenwood, the daughter of Michael Greenwood, bought plane tickets for Williams' daughter, Jasmine Johnson, who he hadn't seen in 17 years, and his 3-year-old granddaughter, who he had never met, so they can fly from Washington State to Arkansas to meet him for the last time. Kayla said she had forgiven Williams and didn't want him to die. However, the families of Boren and Hurd supported the execution. Boren's wife, daughter, and their family told a newspaper that they waited for justice to finally be served with Williams' execution. At least something good came out of this. But we have to start with the mother. He had a hard time developing. He wasn't doing things as fast. Well, obviously, if you use drugs while you're pregnant, the baby's going to come out with developmental issues. I feel like he was almost doomed from the start. You can say nature versus nurture. It's both, because I feel like the way he was brought up molded who he was. He could tell at a young age that the people that were supposed to be there for him, they weren't there. They didn't care. So he didn't care. He just do whatever he wanted to do because he could. It seems like all these people, they don't find God until they get in prison and they got no other choice. That doesn't seem genuine to me. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem genuine. Like you wait until you're at your wit's end and now all of a sudden you want to become a Christian, you want to become an ordained minister, you want to start seeking religion. Like, I don't know about that. But the fact that you not only killed a couple for no reason, you escaped prison, then went to another guy's house and killed him for no reason. You killed another innocent man because you wanted to run for the cops. 4 people lost their lives because of you. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. Thank you so much for the support. I'm out. Peace.